It might have came up, it might have, no, that just tells you what you want it to be. Yeah, it just tells you where you want it. So, yeah. So we're gonna have to do.
Okay. Start. Get down. 6 minutes late. So, I'd like to welcome everyone to the town of Williamsburg Planning Board meeting of August 15th, 2024. And Jeff Schmidt, I'm the chairperson of the planning board. And we'll introduce members.
Good evening, I'm Mike Harris, I'm the vice chair.
Planning board member.
And I'm the planning board member. Josh Halpin, planning board member.
Good evening, board members, Teresa B. Clark, and the board attorney.
Chris Barstow, town planner, code enforcement officer. Yeah, another new clerk tonight. Give her about 20 minutes. It's the stairs.
Not gonna happen.
No. Okay, the copies of the agenda at the door. Just signed in. The organization of tonight's meeting follows the same forms usually do. We have what we call an open forum, which allows anyone in the audience that may want to address the board issues within the town that are of interest to them, may be of interest to the board. They're more than welcome to do it. We ask that in the context of the open forum, if there's an item on tonight's agenda, you reserve your comment for that period. So we also ask that you introduce yourself by your name and your location, and limit your presentation to around 4 minutes. With that in mind, I make a motion to open the open forum, Town of Williamsburg Planning Board, August 15th, 2020. I'll second that.
Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Board Member Houghton?
Yes.
Board Member Houghton?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we would like to make the time. Okay, we'd like everyone to address the board in the open forum context. So I make a motion to close the open forum for August 15th, 2020.
Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Board Member Novak?
Yes.
Board Member Houghton?
Yes.
Board Member Houghton?
Yes.
Board Member-
Yes.
Okay, the next item on tonight's agenda would be the sketch plan review. We have Robert and Renee Merrihew, proposed a minor subdivision on Water School Road. They're here, we can address the board.
Basically, it's very simple. My husband Bob and I would like to.
One more, no? One more. Yeah, okay.
Parcel that was 1.04 acres. That's basically it.
There's the pointers aren't here. For the- Yeah.
Wait, Matt.
I was gonna get it myself.
And so it's this piece of property. This piece of property. We're going to subdivide this piece, which is 4.04 acres. And it will leave us with we want one for 4.7 acres. 4.6, which is road frontage, it's okay, there's plenty of Like, setbacks, yeah. Oh, that's it.
The early part of the, say, the parcel across the street, right? That's for your houses.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we live right about, you know.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a separate lot.
This was the,
Okay.
we own this. Is it's, subdivided this parcel 6 years ago. And we were left with this parcel, and now we want to subdivide this parcel and leave that.
No structures on it currently.
Pardon?
No structures on.
No.
Nope.
Mike is gonna make a motion with the University of Way.
So the planning board has reviewed the Mary Hugh minor subdivision. We've determined that the action neither creates nor increases any significant planning issues with respect to the existing or potential future use of any involved parcel. We declare the proposed action be exempt from any further subdivision review pursuant to section 3.4 and for the application of the code enforcement officer to complete administration. Rewrote that.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll second.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Waldo,
Yes.
Board Member Hoffman,
Yes.
Board Member.
Yes.
Yes.
So that means you just have to work with Chris. You're done with us.
Okay. That's great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for serving the community, too, by the way. And don't quit your day job. You got to keep things in your
Where I am. Yeah, we get it back. Yeah, that concludes the discussion. On the review of the next item on the public hearings. The public hearings is part view and LLC. Before we open the public hearing, it is Representative Parkview to
And we also need to do.
It's right here. Okay, that's good.
just give an over, can you guys give an overview to the audience? What's proposed in this plan? Good evening, thank you. Nancy Brick, ERIC, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
On behalf of the applicant, this is the first model property that's proposed to a business park with multiple buildings. Each building, by the way, it's very important to point out, will receive individual site plan review. We don't have tenants right now. We're here this evening before the board to obtain a special use permit to allow the business park use. And then as we bring in tenants, each individual building, its site plan, its location, its parking, all the elements of it will be back before this board for review. So we're here tonight for the overall idea of the special use permit to allow for this multi-use on the property. We believe it's an effective use of property where it's gonna drive economic development and compete with our communities. We think it's gonna bring some uses to the community that may not be here now, warehousing. We'd like at some point, we'd like to be talking to people who have potential primary healthcare provider, those type of commercial retail service, as well as warehouse, small warehousing, individual buildings. And hopefully it'd be something to a certain extent of business incubator as well as a business park. We are also tonight seeking a negative declaration of the seeker. We have provided to the board a number of documents to demonstrate that we will not have any substantial environmental impact. We can address any of them individually if you'd like. We've also provided a traffic study that shows the traffic can be handled by the road it's on, it's a state highway, it's a major state highway. No access will be from the side roads. It's all going to be from the main roads. There will be no traffic on the side roads. And also, one of the other components important to point out is on the bottom right-hand corner, we're also carving out that section. It's gonna be 2 residential homes. It's gonna be large lot residential homes, that will have the driveways out to, the state highway so that, they're not impacting traffic in the neighborhood. But I did want to point out, we are proposing 2 single family homes as well. In all likelihood, the single family homes would probably be the first constructed. The interest generated by them has been, substantial and significant, so we think they likely would be the first constructed. We also, since we've seen you last, we provided, some mapping and showed dimensions of the areas of disturbance that we will be disturbing to put in our culverts. It came up last month, board member Hudson had a great point. He said, how do we know that you're not gonna be disturbing more than 1 acre to install those culverts? So we provided, a map that shows our disturbance, and it's less than 1 acre. It's not much less than 1 acre, but it is less than 1 acre. So we think we addressed that. We are here tonight to hear comments from the public. We're more than welcome to listen to the public. We can address them tonight, or we can, take them down and address them in the future, completely up to you. And, but we would ask tonight that you, consider granting that we can open the public hearing, because I suspect with this number of people, it's.
One correction. The 2 residents.
I'm sorry, I meant, right. So, and that's why I wanted to record, because the project, the property, as those of you know, is buffered by 2 town roads, and the residences on the back and coming out on the town road. Sorry if I said that, I did not. Sorry.
And emergency access only on the gauge road,
For the park.
Correct.
no through traffic.
Before we open up public hearing, we have to. Public
Yes, I just. Public hearing.
Well, yeah, they're,
Doing stormwater
yeah,
controls.
it's stormwater controls. Because they're under the 1 acre, so they're not doing basic swim. Now, they'll do individual swims as it gets.
So I'll just refer to it. I just want to make sure I do it properly. I'll refer to it generally as a stormwater.
So, yeah, stormwater, I would say, yeah.
I think there was also an EAS part 2 that was distributed at the time of the last. Does the board have any comments or concerns about that part 2?
No, I include that to be developed. Right.
I just want to make sure everybody had a chance to look at it.
So I will go ahead and read the preliminary secret determination for the Dwaynesburg Business Park. To remind folks, this is a seeker type 1 action. The town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board has conducted a coordinated review for the project. We have received comments from DEC, from OPRHP, and from the county on the project, and TOT as well. So with that, I will read the preliminary determination. The town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board has reviewed the proposal for the Dwaynesburg Business Park located the southeast corner of Gage Road and New York State Route 20, which consists of a multi-phase development encompassing a diverse array of residential, commercial, and office spaces. The project's total acreage is approximately 89 acres, and the site is currently zoned as C2 for manufacturing light industrial. Proposal has been reviewed and evaluated for environmental impacts in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, including submission of Part 1 and completion of Parts 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment form. On Part 2, identification of potential project impacts, none have been identified as moderate to large. Overall, the project has been found to be consistent with the town comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, and subdivision ordinance. The proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface, which will be undertaken in accordance with all applicable requirements as further discussed. The proposal will disturb more than 1 acre of soil and proposes an increase in the amount of impervious surface area, and therefore subject to DEC's general permit for state pollutant discharge elimination system from construction activity, GP 0-20-0002. Temporary soil erosion control measures will be installed in advance of any soil disturbance occurring on site. A stormwater plan has been developed, and future stormwater pollution prevention plans will be developed in accordance with the DEC Stormwater Design Manual. Stormwater will be managed on site, and the SWIPs will be implemented to avoid any potential impacts from stormwater runoff. The site contains a Class C stream and approximately 5 acres of federal wetlands which have been delineated. Impacts to water bodies will be avoided and minimized to the maximum extent possible. Any potential impacts to federal wetlands will comply with the requirements of the United States Army Corps of Engineers nationwide permit program and any DEC requirements. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater, including potential individual wells. Hansen Van Vliet Hydrogeologic Consultants performed a site assessment and provided recommendations for test well locations, which will be installed to assess water availability in advance of future development as appropriate. Any public water supplies will be installed in accordance with Schenectady County's Department of Health requirements. The project will also propose on-site septic systems, which will also be installed in accordance with Schenectady County's Department of Health requirements. DEC has conferred with the Town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board and has identified the northern long-eared bat may be present on site. To avoid potential impacts to the species, any tree cutting will be restricted from November 1st to March 31st. No tree cutting will be permitted between April 1st and October 31st. The project area currently has a large warehouse building on site and is used for commercial purposes. As previously stated, any future development of the site will require future approvals from the Town of Dwaynesburg, including approvals of aesthetic features such as building facades, lighting, landscaping, etc., among other things. The site is adjacent to the Halliday Farmhouse, which has been identified as eligible for listing on the State and National Register of Historic Places. The State Historic Preservation Office has reviewed the project and determined it will have no impact on historic or archaeological resources listed in or on the State or National Register of Historic Places. The project may result in an increase in traffic. A central primary access road will be proposed to minimize access points to the existing traffic. No primary access will be from Gage Road. Potential residential development will have driveways from Gage Road, and only emergency access will be provided from Gage Road to the park area. A traffic assessment was undertaken by Creighton Manning Engineering. Recommendations from the assessment will be implemented to avoid any potential impacts to traffic. In addition, the New York State Department of Transportation is reviewing the proposal. The project will comply with any requirements set forth by the New York State Department of Transportation. The project may result in an increase in the future use of energy that will come from the local utility company, which is currently National Grid, and the existing grid system. The project will not require a new or upgrade to an existing substation. Future construction activities may result in additional noise, but such activities will occur during the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday, to minimize impacts on neighboring properties and other residents of Dwaynesburg. Lighting fixtures and their placement will be chosen and installed to avoid the potential for glare, sky glow, and trespass. And again, these items will be reviewed and approved in advance by the Town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board. For these reasons, it has been determined the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law. Therefore, the Town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board issues a negative declaration for the Dwaynesburg Business Park. So I will make that preliminary secret determination.
There's one question, the construction activity permit, you said the number on the first page,
Construction activities.
it was the DEC permit.
Oh. GPO 20002.
It's over one.
Oh, one.
Yeah.
That's on the score. You're right, pull that up. Good catch.
And I would just say, that I think we should make it clear that we should use the, 2024 design manual
Oh, okay.
as well as, because the new manual just came out. Just got approved. That's
So any future stormwater pollution prevention plans developed for the site will be done so in accordance with New York State PC's 2024 stormwater design.
No,
manual.
the construction activity permit GP 0-20-001 and the 2024 New York State DEC, stormwater design. So there's two different documents.
Right, and I'm sorry,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I made the change to the document, so. Oh, and I will, yeah, repeat that we have been approved by DEC as secret lead agency. None of the other agencies that we consulted objected to Town of Maysburg being lead agencies, so we have to put ourselves. So with the minor changes that Matt proposed, thank you, Matt. I will make that preliminary secret determination.
I'll second.
Board member,
Yes.
board member,
Yes.
Chairman Smith,
Yes.
board member Hilton,
Yes.
board member Walpole.
Yes.
and President Hughes.
Yes.
Okay, with that, the negative declaration, we board, I have made a motion for public hearing. The Park Unit Commission room, LLC, project.
One second.
My place.
It actually was,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Board member Walpole,
Yes.
board member
Yes.
Hilton,
Yes.
board
Yes.
yes.
Now, anyone who has comments, please identify yourself. The residence and location of the town. So that we can-
Lance Menace, 143 Howard Road. I have a couple of issues that I'd just like to have addressed. One is in consideration of the drainage and the water plan. I would point out that this whole area from here all the way back to here. That's Palisade Auctions property. And over the last maybe 3 years, they have bringing in 7,000 cubic yards of fill. And immediately behind that line, it's behind each of those houses, the grade has been raised 12 feet or more from what it was. So the whole drainage path, which used to go to the south and eventually wound up in the stream that's shown on the plan there immediately to the right, is now coming across Howard Road. And it's, every time it rains, we get flooded, and so the Shelley across the street, we get flooded. The amount of water is coming down. So the drainage has changed, so that might be something to take a look at. Secondly, I noticed that looking at these, in each area, you can look, I'm not sure you can catch it. But they, I can see it on this. They got looks, I think this is one of them here. Yeah, this is one of them too. They're talking about on-site septic, for each of these units. If I scale that based on looking at the size of the, the parking and so forth like that, each of those little rectangles is about 25 by 60 feet. Now, that would barely be enough for a septic system for a two-family house. I know because I do the walls in Bladesburg. So I'm quite familiar with how much land it takes. That soil up there is very hard to play. So they're not conducive to natural systems. So that means every system that has to go in there has to be a raised system. So that's going to change drainage as well, where you have to put a mound everywhere. But the biggest concern is that if you look at a 40,000 square foot office building, and Chris would know, you look at the code, occupancy on an office, which what do they figure, 150 square feet per person, something like that? Okay, for a 40,000 square foot office building, that's 260 people. And again, by DEC requirements, we normally figure an office building at 15 gallons per day per person. Okay, 260 some people on a 40,000 square foot building, that's like 4,000 gallons a day. Now, number one, we keep talking about referring to health department Once you're over 1,000 gallons of individual septic, you're not dealing with the health department. Now you're dealing with DEC. The DEC regulates anything over 1,000 gallons. If you look at the entire complex there, you're looking at over 300,000 square feet. If you were to figure the amount of people that potentially could be in there, if they're individual offices, that sort of thing, you're looking at 30,000 gallons a day you're going to deal with in terms of sewage. I don't know how you're going to handle it. You're certainly not going to handle it in little tiny spots like you're showing on the plan. So something is going to have to be addressed to deal with that.
Transportation has actually been with no doubt this year, on the transportation. Is there any considerations, the town had any consideration about maybe lowering the speed limit in this area? There's gonna be, it's already a pretty steep hill coming down, and it's 55. There's trucks and vehicles are gonna be stopping to turn it off at 20, there may be some consideration, maybe lower the speed limit. This is the next section of 25. I don't know if the town can do that or not.
It's state road.
We did get the comments from DOT already on this. We just kidding.
These roads, want to know if we had any.
No, I'm saying that.
So Brent, the highway, the most the town board can do is make a request to lower the speed limit. DOT traditionally is really reluctant to do it where the actual speed on the road is close to the 55 miles per hour. So I wouldn't want to think that it's likely that that would happen. I think it's not likely that
Typically, they would have to do a speed study and you'd have to find the warrants to see if the average speed is above the 85th percentile of the road, marked road. And they also they would want to do that speed study after the development has been fully established and built to see if the development is what is changing the pattern on the road. So the best case scenario is the development gets built out, gets occupied, then you would request DOT to do a speed study on Route 20. You would find out what the 85th percentile speed is, or you calculate it and then see what the average speed on the road is versus that 80th percentile.
And before the summer, if you can turn the air conditioning back, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable.
Yes. Anybody else have, a very big project.
Any response from them about?
Well, yeah, I asked them. Some ideas on how to address what. Right.
Yeah, and absolutely. I know it's managed by my reputation. I'm not going to dispute his numbers. I assume those calculations are accurate. I think he's got it. So with Collison Orchard, the neighbor, we can look at what they were doing and see if the impact is being incorporated into our design work, especially when we get up to those subdivision lots up there, in the back to make sure if that is changing things, we will adjust accordingly. We can't control our neighbors, but we can adjust if they're doing something that has changed circumstances on ours. The septic sizes, for each individual, as I mentioned, we're going to come back to the site plan. As part of the site plan, we're going to at that time have the proposed use of having proposed. That will give us and you the ability to do those calculations to figure out exactly how much gallons per day, and then we could size appropriately. We just showed basic septics to show that there is room for them if they were all warehouse. But recognizing if it becomes a large office complex, we are going to have to justify on a building by building basis, have the area to septic service. So we recognize that. don't disagree with you at all. And with Patrick's comments, I agree the air conditioner should have come back on. Like that. And we have no objection to lowering the speed limit, recognize we have no control. And I think Mr. Hoffman is correct. When the project is substantially built out, DOT will do a study to see if it's warranted. We will support whatever the town and neighbors are, the recommendation you make to the DOT. We have, I think it would benefit us if that speed limit went down.
Oh, you're good.
I'd also like to say that each one of those lots, the minimum lot size. There's plenty of room to shift things. Maximum build out. If something comes along and it doesn't work, because of your drainage or whatever, we'll have to revise it. We're looking at something that's just maximum.
But you're still.
We are going to.
The question was if we are going to be selling the individual lots.
That hasn't been the plan. Most likely lease, but. Move two of the lots down on the corner up here. Those will be sold.
We're not approving any subdivision of the other lot. In this review.
I think it's 75 acres or something like that when we get done. I can't remember. The two lots on the lower right carved out.
That's on Bay Road. Just wanted to, so there's gonna be two driveways to the residential homes on Bay Road, which are access ones. And that, how many emergency vehicles, like exit or access? to go out to Bay Road?
One from the park, and then we have one from the commercial. That's existing.
Gated.
Gated.
Only the fire department gets to use it.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and the fire, I talked with the fire department, they requested that. From the park. All of them except for that one building that's a little lighter there.
Wanna
So
use the
existing ones
pointer
up in the
here?
front will be taken
The
down.
pointers.
That one right here.
Yeah. that one.
Okay.
Yeah. It was public.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they're constructed, it'll look a lot nicer.
What? Because the traffic trailer. There's some kind of disaster. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. What's wrong with the earth, the cost of this is now that I was older than coming over that. Thanks. One more question. Last summer, from if there are negative repercussions from this problem, such as water, such as things that what are our options as we were? Because we want to have something that's out and it's established by the time they're on page, by the time
what are our options? There's who do we go to? So we very want to do it, okay. How do we do that?
Yeah. So we've been reviewing the project. And so we spent a lot of time looking at sort of the worst case scenario. That's it. We built out. When we know it's going to take many, many years to build out. You know, it's nothing happens quickly. Each time they want to do something, we have to come back to this board and see a safe and improve. So at that time, we'll be looking at issues related to the valve, issues related to the septic, or the system too. So we won't be built out all at once, we build out slowly over time. So as we go, you should be able to address any adverse impact that may have occurred. It's not one of those projects where they're coming in one warehouse where it's gone, okay? Instead, it's, smaller type of zones last a lot. So planning board will be able to adjust things as we move forward. What we can't do is make them a job without power. So the uses that are allowed, say, are one. So there's nothing that we can do about that. We can't say, well, we like this, but that. So I'm saying, we do, because the amount of money they want. What I'm getting at is that it happens, the neighbors feel it. There's huge lack of it's a problem that can't fix by an applicant. We'll make sure the applicant fixes it. If it's a problem with your team, actually works to be helpful, all we can do is inquire if he thinks that becomes. Or you see, 16 is in. I don't find it, and it's. It can be a little stiff. But what we address is the planning
DOT was.
DOT is when they plan. DOT is not going to allow them to use the. No, they're not. So they come here. Or even if they wanted to put the water there. Get it there. DOT would make them. Reduce. Equal to or less.
Required to do this. If they would have educated safety, giant over, so that water on site, how you have the edge on site, that's why. By our site, our service and mostly